Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in and checking out the video. This video is going to be talking about the highly anticipated 168-pound matchup super middleweight between Callum Smith versus Rocky Fielding, the Battle of Liverpool taking place overseas. Now, I'm really excited for this fight because obviously the fans over in the UK are excellent boxing fans. These guys really support their fighters. The atmosphere is second to none. Um, but I believe this is a highly competitive fight. And when I look at some of the skill set that both of these guys bring to the table, let's first start off with Callum Smith. Now, when you look at Callum Smith and what he brings to the table, I see a guy who is a ferocious body puncher. He uses left hooks and right hooks to the body. Excellent balance. He's a guy who also has a stiff jab. He has some power, but I generally think his power has been a little overrated in my opinion. And of course, he comes from a boxing background. He's got his brothers who are also fighters, quite a few of them. So that's something just to be a note of in Callum Smith. And he also has a lot of hype by Eddie Hearn and company. So he's very well known in the UK, and even some people in North America think of him as a guy to watch. Now, when you look at Rocky Fielding, this is a guy who, in my opinion, has flown under the radar because he's a guy that when you watch him a couple years ago, you don't see anything that really stands out as being overly great. But really, Rocky Field, in my opinion, has really improved his skill set over the vast number of fights. When I look at Rocky Fielding, I see a guy who, before when I used to watch him in some of the videos of his fights, I would see a guy who would generally just use his jab and a right hand, and he didn't have very much punch variety. But now when I watch Rocky Fielding, I see a guy who throws uppercuts. I see him use a left hook now. He jabs to the body. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Rocky Fielding, and he's really coming along as a promising fighter, in my opinion. When I look at Rocky Fielding, the skill set that he has, I see a guy who has a long jab. I see a guy who I like the way he throws. He has awkward kind of angles that he punches at. He possesses power. He's got some decent movement on his feet. And generally speaking, I love the punch variety he uses. And also, he seems to be understanding his distance, and he's a pretty accurate puncher. So those are some of the things that I like when I look at Rocky Fielding. This is a guy who's definitely underrated in my opinion. Now, my pick for this fight, I've gone back and forth on who I wanted to pick for this fight. For the longest time, I had Callum Smith winning this. But Rocky Fielding is really impressive when I look at him in tape. Generally, I think that if you're looking at advantages, I think that Callum Smith possesses a little more of the technical aspect of boxing. Fundamentally, he's a little bit better in my opinion. But I believe that Rocky Fielding possesses the power advantage, and I also believe he's far more unpredictable than Callum Smith is, and he uses way more of a punch variety. So that could be a huge issue for Callum Smith. In this fight, however, though, I will take Callum Smith to win close decision in this fight. I believe that his body work is going to be key to this matchup, and I believe he slows down Rocky Fielding in the later rounds. But Callum Smith, in my opinion, he's going to have to be on his A game for this fight because Rocky Fielding, if he lands some of the punches that Christopher Rebresse lands, Callum Smith could be in a lot of trouble. But I believe I'm just going to go with Smith for the simple reason, fundamentally a little bit better in my opinion. Also, I believe his body work is going to pay dividends later in the fight. But Rocky Fielding, don't sleep on this guy. And even if he loses this fight, definitely check him out in the future because he's a guy to definitely be on the watch for. And I got a lot of respect for him. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning into the video. Enjoy this fight on November the 7th.